So it has been quite the week for Xbox, and I've really been enjoying covering this situation because I feel like I kind of give a different perspective than a lot of people that are talking about this situation are. A lot of people talking about this are either diehard Sony ponies or they're diehard Xbox. So there's a lot of fanboyism sort of involved in this, and I look at this as a much more objective person because I mean I like Xbox. I'm not ride or die for them. I'm not ride or die for any corporation because these corporations aren't my friends, but I would like to see Xbox do well because I feel like competition is a really good thing. But it's obviously been a very difficult week for Xbox. There's been lots of rumors and speculation about games going third party. Exclusive games are now kind of up in the air. We've talked about Indiana Jones. Now we have this Xbox business meeting, or Microsoft business meeting, I should say, taking place next week, where we're going to learn about the future of the Xbox brand. And I say the Xbox brand because I feel like that's an important part of today's story. What is the identity of something like Xbox? In the modern era, I think most people kind of tie it into something like Game Pass. You know, I love my Xbox Series S, but I do love a lot of the Game Pass stuff on there. It allows me to play games that maybe I would never have played before, and it allows me to, play games that are new that come out on the service that I don't feel like purchasing. And, with the price of video games nowadays, it becomes a very difficult decision on which games to buy and which games to pass up. But with Xbox Game Pass, there is a bit of a stigma kind of around it, the Game Pass fodder. And it's a quote that I've used before because it seems like some of these games aren't really fully cooked before they are released into Game Pass. You end up getting additional features, look at like Halo Infinite. That definitely did not launch, at least in the multiplayer state of that game. It didn't launch in the greatest of states, but people still seem excited for Xbox Game Pass, and it's a great thing for consumers. But how good is it for the company? Why are we even having these discussions about the future of Xbox if Game Pass was working as intended? Because Microsoft obviously put a lot of money into Xbox Game Pass. These games don't show up willy-nilly on the service. If it's a third-party game, there's money being exchanged for the rights to have those games available day one on Game Pass or even later on in Game Pass. Of course, Microsoft exclusive games are going to be played by a lot of people, but how many of those people are actually purchasing them? It's tough to say. These first party Xbox games, we never hear about sales from them like we do with stuff like PlayStation and Nintendo, and that's probably because a lot of people are experiencing these games via Xbox Game Pass. But is Xbox Game Pass going to be changing? I say all that to get to our main point here, but I feel like context with all this is very, very important because it's really setting a stage for where we got to with Game Pass and potentially what the future is. Now, this tweet went out from GameStop yesterday, and the internet lost its mind over this. You look at it upon first glance. Who cares? Join us on February 10th for Xbox Demo Day. Come play new Xbox games on Xbox Series X and S. Plus, explore the benefits of Microsoft Game Pass. So when you first look at this, you could see it seems like some GameStops are doing this Xbox Demo Day. Kind of an interesting day to do it. But the thing that stands out, obviously, as Wario64 has said here, is Microsoft Game Pass. Because right now it's called Xbox Game Pass. And we know that Microsoft is now looking at the Xbox brand in a bit of a different direction. It's pretty much been hands off for Microsoft. Phil Spencer's been running the division, obviously with his cohort Sarah Bond and all that. But it seems like Microsoft is a lot more privy to what is happening with Xbox right now. And there's been lots of rumors about Game Pass potentially rebranding or going away or not having games day and date anymore. There might be a new service that is, a premium tier above what you have with Game Pass if you want to get the day and date stuff. And a lot of those rumors are coming to us from different people within the industry. Some people are saying that, it's a possibility. Some people are saying, it's just a circumstantial thing. There's nothing really to it. With this tweet here, GameStop has indeed deleted the tweet. Jez Corden reached out to some GameStop contacts. They said that this was a term that they made up internally for this. I don't know why they would make up a term internally for Microsoft Game Pass. If you look through the history of things, even EA has called it Microsoft Game Pass back in like 2023. So the mindset now is, well, this was either a mistake on GameStop's part. They just made up a term and used it. Or could this mean something about a potential rebranding of Xbox Game Pass to Microsoft Game Pass? Because you have to remember something here. All of the stuff that we've been talking about with Xbox, it's pretty much been the same thing at the core of it. And what is that core? It's, of course, bringing Xbox games to other platforms to generate more revenue. Sure, you can play the games via Xbox Game Pass, but if you have a PlayStation 5 and you want to play Indiana Jones, you now have an opportunity to purchase the game on there, because people are buying games on PlayStation. People are buying games on Nintendo Switch. But we also know that Microsoft themselves have gone on record numerous times, whether it be Xbox executives or Microsoft executives, saying that they want Game Pass available on as many devices as possible. When you're talking about Xbox Game Pass, it's tied into the system, the name of the system being Xbox. But if you want to make it more attractive for other companies such as Sony and Nintendo, a name change could potentially do that. Microsoft Xbox, well, I mean, Microsoft Windows, Microsoft this, Microsoft that. Everyone knows Microsoft. Microsoft is a massive company where Xbox is a portion of it. But Xbox is only one company within Microsoft. So could that be something that ends up happening where Game Pass gets a rebranding and you get some new tiers, and now other companies such as Sony and Nintendo are potentially open to working with Microsoft on this Game Pass venture? I mean, they want to put their games onto other platforms. We've talked about this time and time again, literal quotes from them. You're buying up all these studios, you're creating all of these new IPs and these new games, and you're going to put them just on your system and PC, or do you want to get a bigger piece of the console gaming pie? It doesn't have to be via traditional methods, because for whatever reason, Microsoft and Xbox feel like, hey, great games aren't going to sell our console. Phil Spencer said that verbatim, that they've lost the console war. But that just seems like such a weird thing to me, because why did PlayStation ever become successful? Why did Nintendo ever become successful? Like, obviously the hardware plays a little part of it, but if there's no games for the hardware, nobody's going to care about the system. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there are going to be some substantial changes to Microsoft. And I feel like we're like next week, I don't think it's going to answer all of our questions. I think it's going to be a very PR statement thing. I'm not expecting some sort of video or anything like that. A very business-like thing, just to sort of appease investors and give a glimpse into what Xbox is planning for the future. Because I don't know what their future is. And I don't think anyone beyond Xbox and Microsoft themselves really know what sort of direction they're going into. I think they know what direction they would like to go into, but is that a feasible direction? Are companies like Sony and Nintendo going to play ball with you to have Game Pass available on their systems? Because if so, that will cut into game sales from third-party developers on their systems, because if the game is on Game Pass, a lot of people are just going to do it on there. And then you just have the collapse, I guess, of the video game industry. There's definitely a lot of stuff here, a lot of speculation. As far as this GameStop thing is concerned, I mean, it probably was just, a mistake, but it's an interesting mistake, and it doesn't do anything to sort of quell the fires that are, booming around Microsoft and booming around the Xbox brand now. I guess we'll find out next week, though. I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. I'm very interested to see is Microsoft gonna, do like all the crazy fans and stuff like that? Like they're getting articles written about them. Like, man, don't develop these relationships with these companies. And I've seen a lot of people showing off the kind of funny stuff being involved in Spider-Man, but that's the same thing in my opinion. You're obviously not unbiased. Like you're going to be biased if you're friends with the people that work at the company or it's a franchise you like or you're in the game or something like that. Like of course. I don't understand why that's such a big revelation for people, but people can be gullible. Let me know what you think of this whole situation in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share all of that sort of good stuff. Let me know what you think the future of Xbox is before we get to it next week. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.